Today I'm with Craft Resin showing you everything you need to know for a flawless epoxy pour. While this video focuses on the pouring process, check out Craft Resin's socials for tutorials on building simple, affordable, and even reusable forms. Before setting my forms on a level surface, I applied a release agent to make releasing the epoxy even easier. While not necessary with tuck tape, it's a simple step I recommend for a smoother process. Once the forms are on a perfectly level table, I place my wood pieces inside. Sometimes I'll run a bead of caulk to secure the wood in place, and I always use cawls and clamps to hold everything tightly to the bottom of the form. If I'm filling knots or holes, I like to create a small caulk barrier around those areas to prevent epoxy from spilling across the surface and wasting material. For this project, I am using Craft Resin's Deep Pour Epoxy Kit, designed for thick pours. This kit includes everything you need, with a resin and hardener that you can pour up to 2 inches. It's ideal for river tables and deep fills, delivering crystal clear, bubble-free results. When it's time to mix, carefully calculate the right size container. We underestimated and had to switch to a larger tub on the fly. Mixing is critical. Stir the resin and hardener slowly and thoroughly to avoid introducing air bubbles. To color this pour, I'm using Eye Candy Pigments Epoxy Paste in black. I love using paste pigments because they create a solid, opaque finish, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Once mixed, it's time to pour. Here's a simple tip. Pour slowly and steadily to avoid trapping air bubbles. For extra bubble prevention, you can use a heat gun or a torch to pop any that rise to the surface. Craft Resin's Deep Pour Epoxy has a long working time, which usually helps reduce bubbles and ensures a smooth finish. Check their websites for curing times. This kit typically takes about 48 to 72 hours to fully cure, depending on the environment. This is hands down one of my favorite and most reliable epoxies for big projects like this. It's so easy to work with, and I've always been super impressed by how consistent and flawless the results are. Before pouring the second layer, I scuff the surface lightly with a Scotch-Brite pad and wipe away any dust to ensure a strong bond. Make sure you don't skip this step. Without it, the layers might not bond properly, leading to weak spots in your project. Then I repeat the process, mixing the epoxy, adding pigment, and pouring the second layer slowly and carefully. If you're just getting started with epoxy, my biggest advice is to start small and practice. My first few projects didn't go perfectly. There were bubbles, uneven pours, and some curing issues, but I learned that preparation is everything. With careful planning, the right materials, and a high-quality resin like Craft Resin, you can achieve stunning professional results. Now that everything is fully cured, I'm beyond happy with how this project turned out. The bond between the two layers is seamless, and you can't even tell where the first pour ends and the second begins. The deep, solid black finish looks incredible, and the epoxy has a flawless, glass-like surface. I can't wait to get these pieces finished and keep working on more projects like this. For more tips, tricks, and inspiration, be sure to follow Craft Resin.